And we're going to be looking at pronunciación. So pronunciation. Everyone try to say that. Say pronunciación. Right. Notice the accent mark on the O on the end. So pronunciación. Accents on the O, okay? Pronunciación. Rather than pronunciación or pronunciación or something like that. So pronunciación for pronunciation, and we're just looking at las vocales A, E, and I. Everyone say A, E, I. Right, so when I say the vowels, I'm going to try my best to always say them in the Spanish, right? Which that's going to mean that the word I, or the letter E, is the letter I, not the American letter E, right? So that can get confusing, which is why I'll try to be consistent. So A, E, I. And that is the sounds they make. So they are called the sounds they make. In English, sometimes an A doesn't make an A sound. It makes an A sound or an A sound even. So 3 different sounds for one vowel. However, in Spanish, vowels will always make the same sound. Always. The only exception, and it's not really an exception, is when 2 vowels come together. They make a slightly different sound. But even then, it's really the same sounds being put together quickly. So like an A and an I would be I, but it's going to be I. Okay, so it's still the same sounds, but you can think of it as separate if you like. So A and I. Okay, so the sound of the vowel A. El sonido de la vocal A. The sound of the vowel A. Let's look at the descripción. The sound of the Spanish vowel A is similar to the sound of the English vowel A in father, but it's said more quickly. Father is kind of held out. Father. He's my father. I mean, you don't always say it like father, but we never really say, that's my father, right? It's not quite that fast. So the Spanish A is a little bit faster than the A in father. The corners of the mouth are drawn back slightly as for a smile. So as the difference would be like this. Father and what would be a good casa? Casa. Casa. Es mi casa. Mi casa es tu casa. Okay? So my house is your house. Casa. So you're kind of drawing the corners of your mouth back a little bit more than in father. That's because Americans are lazy. Father, like they're not really trying to. English is lazy. Americans are lazy. I didn't know it wasn't always that way. But so let's say these words together. Write down the list. You can repeat after me. Okay? Casa. Casa. A little louder. Casa. Casa. Make sure that each A, you're saying it's the same. So it's not casa, right? That's which is different. It's casa. Casa. Okay? Because remember, the vowels will always stay the same. Lava. Mama. Notice the sound is the same, but the accent changed from casa to mama. From not mama, but mama. But the vowel doesn't change. You're just emphasizing more oomph when you say it. Managua. Managua. Papa. Say it louder, guys. Papa. Papa. Good. Ventana. Okay, so oraciones means sentences. You can see the little footnote at the bottom. And notice that you can have a complete sentence where the only vowel is that vowel, A, in this case. You can, but Susana has the U and the U in Managua. But you can have sentences where there's only a single vowel in the whole sentence. We'll get to some of those. I think they'll have examples. I'll try to find some. But let's say these sentences. Ana lava la ventana de la casa. So say that. Ana lava la ventana de la casa. Yeah, let's say it together with me, and we'll go nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, go. Ana lava la ventana de la casa. Say it again. Try to say it where you're smiling the whole time. Ana lava la ventana de la casa. So lava means he or she washes. So lava manos is a sink, because manos means hands, right? Mano a mano. What does mano a mano mean? I'm going to fight mano a mano. I know, you'd think that, but mano doesn't mean man, it means hand to hand, right? So, which makes a little more sense because we say hand to hand in common, right? But I used to think mano a mano meant I'm going to fight you man to man, but you know, it doesn't. So. Okay, next one. Susana va a Managua. Oh, I didn't tell you what it meant. Ana lava la ventana de la casa means Anna washes, he or she washes, la ventana, the window, right? The window is a vent. It's a place where air flows. So Ana lava la ventana. Anna washes the window of la casa. Of what? The house, right. Okay. Next one. Susana va a Managua. Va a Managua. Say it again. Susana va a Managua. One more time. Susana va a Managua. Good. Okay. That means Susanna is going or goes to Managua. Okay, so let's look at el sonido de la vocal E. Notice it's E, not A, right? So that's the difference between E, the English would be E, and the English A. Listen to how I'm saying the English vowel A. A, right? There's more than one sound when I say that in English. A. I have a Y at the end. A. What letter? A, B, C, D. A has a Y. But in Spanish, it's a straight sound. Ah. And there's only one sound there. I'm not saying I, ow, R. Nothing like that, right? All. It's just ah. And the letter E is E. So everyone say E. E. A. E. A. Okay, now say this difference too. E. A. 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 Say it. A. 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 Okay, the Spanish sound is more like A and less like A. And it's definitely not A. Okay? So it's very simple. It's A. And then you stop before you, almost like there's an okina at the end. A. Before you say any other vowel. Okay? So let's read what it says. The sound of the Spanish vowel E or E is similar to the long A sound as in the word make. But again, it stops before that Y in make. Do you hear that Y? Make. You hear the Y right before the K? Make. We don't say that in Spanish. Okay, so make would be more close. So el bebé es feo, meseta, nene, pero. Okay, let's say those words together. Bebé, nice and loud. Bebé es feo. And try not to say feo, because there's no Y, so feo, feo. Say it again. Feo. Right, that's good. Meseta. And make sure you say the A right. Meseta. Nene. Pero. Pero means but. Not like booty, but like but I don't want to. Like that. Okay, let's look at these oraciones. I'll read it, and then you guys can read it with me. We'll repeat it together. El nene feliz ve a la maestra. El nene feliz ve a la maestra. One more time. El nene feliz ve a maestra. One more time. El nene feliz ve a la maestra. Okay, next one. El bebé está en el edificio. El bebé está en el edificio. Okay, so the baby is in the edifice. Okay, the sound of the vowel I. The sound of the vowel I is like that of the sound of the EE in C, but it is shorter. So, I see. There's almost like two flows, right? So listen to how I'm saying it and look at what I do with my hand. What are you gonna go do, buddy? I'm gonna go see a movie. See a movie, right? It's like we're saying the E twice. See a movie. We don't quite say see, but it's almost like there's two bumps. See. In Spanish, sí. It's just one. Sí. But it's the same sound. And again, don't add a Y at the end. Sí. You can pretend there's an okina at the end. Sí. So it stops short. So, dice. Everyone say dice. Good. That means he or she says, like, como se dice? How do you say? Como se dice? Okay, does anybody know what sound the letter H makes? It makes no sound. H is silent, okay? You never ever say an H unless it's a CH, which makes the same sound as English, right? Or it's close. But. Okay, so that means that for this next word, hijo, the H sound, hijo, is more like, not like you're breathing, but almost like you're a cat, okay? Hijo. It's almost. It's like in between the English H and the cat hissing. Hijo. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to do? Alright. So, hijo. Don't confuse the H sound with the H just because the H sound is in the word with an H. The H is silent. The J makes the H sound. So, hijo. That means son. Okay, mani. Say it again. Mani. Pita. Like, the boy with the bread in Hunger Games. Pita. But that's not how you spell it. Prima. Si. Does anybody know what si means? You do? What does it mean? Does anybody know what the word si without an accent? Said the same way. They sound the same, but there's no accent. Does anyone know what that means? It means if. And the only way you'll know is the context. Si hablo en español, entonces necesito traducir qué digo. So, if I speak, si hablo en español. If I speak, hablo means I speak. So, hablo en español. If I speak in Spanish. But if you say, Ben, ¿tú hablas en español? Do you speak Spanish? He could say, sí, hablo en español. Yes, I speak Spanish. So, sí means yes or if, just depending on the context. Okay? Alright, next word.
But they sound the same, right?
They sound the same, yep. But the accent mark is there for yes, and it's not there for if. Okay, siya. Make sure that you mark this down in your notes. 2 L's make a Y sound. So this last word under the I vowel is not sila. It's not even like almost sila. It's just a Y sound. Siya. Okay? 2 L's make a Y sound. H's make no sound. Those are the important. And the J makes a H sound. Okay, let's look at these oraciones. Mira mi linda piña. Mira mi linda piña. Mira mi linda piña. The N with the squiggly line is not an N, okay? So it looks like an N, but when it has a squiggly line, it's its own separate letter. So in the Spanish alphabet, you'll see A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, and then you'll see Nye is what it's called. So it'll have two N's, and this is its own letter. So it's called an Nye, and it makes an NY sound. So, ña, ña. Mira mi linda piña. Ignacio dice que mi prima es inteligente. A G can make an H sound sometimes, but we're going to go with the G sound. Just like in English, a G that comes before an E or an I makes a soft sound. So the G, the letter, makes a G sound. But in English, as well as Spanish, if it's GI or GE, then you're going to say J instead of G. Right? So like Waipio gentry, Gen, or a gentleman, or what's one with it? Well, I guess it's not always like that, because give, G-I-V-E. Anyway, often the G makes a J sound before an E or an I. So in this case, inteligente. Let's say that one together. Ignacio dice que mi prima es inteligente. Okay. With Spanish consonants, they like to make them softer than English. So listen to this one. Ignacio, this is a really bad American accent saying this in Spanish, okay? Ignacio dice que mi prima es inteligente. Okay, notice I messed up the vowels. Inteligente, right? That's wrong. Dice, that D is like David. It's really hard. D, really big stop. But in Spanish, it sounds a lot more flowing, relaxed, and soft. So listen to, I'll say it again in a bad English, howly gringo accent. Ignacio dice que mi prima es inteligente. That's really bad. Now listen again. Ignacio dice que mi prima es inteligente. See how much more like flowing? It doesn't have as many stops in between the words. The vowels are more precise, and the consonants, especially D and G, are softer. Dice rather than dice. Dice. And then inteligente instead of intelligente. And then also the R. Ignacio dice que mi prima. Not prima, prima. So it's not quite rolling your R's. Prima. That only happens when you have two R's together, or the R is at the beginning of the word. When the R is just one R in the middle of a word, then it's more like the D in daddy. Everyone hear the double D? Daddy, 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 da 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 da. When you're just kind of like hitting your tongue at the top of your roof, da ada ada ada. That is the R. So, and you might think of it as a D, but it's actually an R. Prima. See how it's prima. See what I'm saying? See how it sounds like an R in the right context, but by itself it sounds like a D? Prima. Prima. Daddy. It's the same sound though, okay? Alright. So, that's pronunciation. And let's look at some cognados. Okay, last thing. As you study Spanish, this is top of 25. As you study Spanish, you will find that many English and Spanish words are similar. These words are called cognates. The Spanish word for cognates is cognados. So if you already knew about the word cognate, and you heard the word cognado, you would think, I bet cognado means cognates, right? Well, that's because cognado and cognate are a cognate. Words that look and sound a lot alike in two different languages. They are words derived from the common source, usually Latin or Greek.
Good morning, Hailani Upper School.
And
welcome to Wednesday.
And that list is cognates. And that's
a couple of reminders after fifth period today.